All right, are you guys excited as I am? This week we get to actually analyze the where things happened, the causes, and sort of get the intersection of the two to try to find our priorities and what we're going to recommend. Our ultimate priorities, I should say. So I'm really excited. One thing I wanted to point out, you might find this interesting, that the original data set that I gave you at the beginning was 151 kilobytes, okay? Now look what happens when I bring up mine. I am currently at 2.92 megabytes. It has increased in size quite a bit. I don't know if you guys are interested in that kind of stuff. I am. So what you see on the screen here is where we left off, or where I left off last week. And I had created a tab in which I compared my just the indemnified claim averages to the state, and mine were much higher. And this was just sort of an FYI or point of interest. Maybe if you're like me, that's something that I would report, because sometimes they ask, well, how do we compare to others? Well, there's several ways to look at it. I looked at it this way, and I looked at it with just the $0 claims in, and then it was a little bit lower. So that's another thing to show how, that particular factor might influence, interpretation. I just think it's interesting. All right. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to delete my pivot base because I don't need it anymore. I'm not going to be doing any more pivot tables. Close you, get rid of you. I don't know if that did much to the size of things, but whatever. All right, so the first thing we want to do is, I told you I was going to do this. I'm going to analyze class code, location, which I think is location, number, and jurisdiction. And that's what I'm going to try to get through today. What I'll let you know is this next step is a lot of repetition and a lot of attention to detail as to making sure that the numbers represent what we say they do. Because when you start copying and pasting, Excel tries to attach things to previous spreadsheets or tabs, and you got to make sure it's updated. So, all right, enough said. What I'd like to do is start with my detail. From now on, what we'd like to do is go ahead and just move forward just with the outliers removed. Drinking a little coffee, and I'm going to copy this and create a new tab. Paste. All right, as soon as it comes through, there we go. So as you can see, the outliers are removed. I've got all of my results tables stacked from previous, I'll just say previously. I was going to say for previous weeks, but that doesn't make any sense. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to start with the priority. Oh, I better put this at the end. I'm going to start with class code priorities. Okay. And so I'm going to scroll up. It's kind of hard to see everything. Here's my class code. So it's a wider column. So if I start on the left, I can shrink it down a little bit. I'm going to try to get everything on the screen here. So you guys remember when we did this a couple weeks ago, I think? Or was it last week? It's probably last week. All right. So when we use class code as the variable of interest, we came up with 9040 and 8830. They represented the Pareto we needed. And I mean, again, it says 30%, but it's 30% of 37.53. So what it actually represents is we do have the, let me get rid of some of the decimal points. There it is. So we had a good Pareto here. Yeah, it's under 20. We got 80 and 80. So what I want to do is I just want to focus on 9040. And so what I can do is, I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to rename my tab 9040 base, and then I'm just going to say no outliers, just so that's what I'm going to focus on. Now, in order to do this properly, and just bear with me, everybody. I need to bring down the header row to here so that I can sort the data I have. I'm going to change that header, that new or subheader row, if you want to call it that. to a filter. And now what I'm going to do is, again, the thing we're focusing on is class code, right? So I'm going to sort by class code. A to Z is fine. And I'm going to delete all the claims that are not 9040. So all I have left are 9040 claims. So this is going to take a little bit of effort on our part to scroll. Oh, there's the start of it. I mean, it's true we could just, yeah, we could do this all manually. It would take forever. So I'm going to delete everything's before it. I'm going to scroll past it. Some of you, I think you know where I'm already going with this. That when you delete things that aren't there, all the tables we created will only represent what's there. So now all my tables will only represent what we have here for 9040. So we've got, of course, this doesn't equal 100% because we only have this many. Let's see how many we have represented. Because now we can start checking our work. 353. Go over here. This only represents 353, probably. 353. The new total is 492. The total is 492. Scroll down here. The total is 492, 353. What's the average? Average is 1,396. The average is 1,396. The average is 1,396. Do you see? We can check our work. And everything here, so we only have 9040. We only have 9040. We only have 9040. Here we can actually see 9040. Where do they work? They work in a majority of these here. And I mean, what we could do is, again, we're not doing location code. Location code is a different variable similar to it. So what I'm going to do is, oh, that's right, I can't do the filter. I need to highlight the data. I'm going to sort it by count, all right? So I'm going to do a sort by count, and I'm going to go high to low. Oh, stupid. I'm going to hit Z because I had accidentally highlighted the total. Okay, it's not highlighted this time. It's so nice that you can just like, oh, I messed up, but I can go right back. Count, high to low. So 90, why did it do that? Why did it do that? Again, did you see? I didn't have it highlighted. Anyway, whatever. So these are the, you can see, so these are the area. Oh, look at that. Isn't that interesting? So these are the areas they tend to work in. These are the originals and not the advanced ones, but that's okay. It's interesting. 5070 has the most, but it wasn't a priority for this. Interesting. Okay. So this is just this is of interest right now. And I could do it with this too. And kind of see how they lay out. What we want to get to is, well, why don't we just trend 9040 and see what happens? Because that's what we're really trying to do here. Okay, long story short. What we're trying to do is, are they going up or down for this particular class code? Because we know what the overall looks like. And now we're now focusing in on different aspects within the overall data set to find out what areas we could possibly find opportunities for improvement. So here is what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a little space here to work. And just like when we did our trending before, I'm sorry, there's a lot of noise going on in my house. By the way, if I do sound stuffed up, I am on my 5th or 6th day of COVID. This is the best I've felt. Slept pretty well. Still congested, yes, but my energy levels are high. I haven't taken any sort of cold medicine or flu medicine today, and I am just feeling good, you guys. I think I'm going to turn the corner here. What's interesting is those that came to the Sunday morning office hour, I actually had COVID, but I didn't know it yet. At that point, I just thought I had a sinus infection. Oh, okay, shut up. All right, so remember, what we do here is we're going to do a scatter plot. We're just going to use 19, 20, and 21, because 22, it's a partial year. We go to Insert, Tab, Scatter Plot. It's taking a while. I mean, that's the thing also with Excel. As it gets large, sometimes it takes a while. All right, there's that. Let's do the total paid. We don't have to do all of them now. We only have to do total paid. So I highlighted the total paid data, oh, not data, insert. Okay, now it's going a little bit quicker. I don't know why it's so loud in my house. I hope you guys aren't hearing that. Oh, the X values, I have to update those. So I'll hit select data, edit total paid. My X values are just a simple 19, 20, 21. Do you see now that if you have years of data, how much better it can get? The average I can also do, but for right now, let's just work with what we have. So let's turn the x-axis into years and not half years. So the major units, instead of a 0.5, I'm going to turn it into 1. It's a little bit better. Do the same thing here. Into 1. All right, let's do those trend lines. Add a trend line. We're going to move forward up to 2023, which would be 2 years. I'd like to see the R-square value, please. Let's do the total paid, same thing. Hey, why don't you record when there's so super... Okay, so based on this, the number of claims is going up. The cost of claims are going down. That's overall. Now, within 9040, I would guess that there are going to be some causes that maybe are a different trend. And that's the assumption I'm going on right now. We will see if that's correct. It may not be. Average per claim at this point, not a big deal. All right, so this is my 9040 base. I'm going to hit, I got to do a save as. Are you guys saving it under different titles? You know, I'm going to put in here week 4 because it's the 4th week of the assignment. And now what we're doing is class code priorities. You can call it whatever you want. It'd be nice if you put like your personal identifier in there too, your name, initials, something like that. I like it when you guys submit that stuff. All right, so now I'm gonna have to copy. We're gonna basically double the size of our document now by doing it this way. All right. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to focus on the 9040. Okay, I'm not going to call it. I got to see what the number 1 cause is because that's what I'm going to focus on. So it's the same thing, but what we're going to do is we're going to reduce the data set size even more, focusing on 9040, just 1 cause. I hope you see what I'm doing here. So the number 1 priority for 9040 was resident patient. So what are we going to do? We're going to go up to the top here. We're going to highlight this subheader row, turn it into a filter. I need to find the cause. I'm going to sort from A to B. Sorry, A to Z. And I'm just going to do the resident, what was it called? Resident handling. Now at this point, I haven't really verified that the entries are correct. I'm going on the assumption that there was some correctness there. There are probably errors. At this point in time, I just, kind of reading what you guys have been telling me, I don't want to go that far into this. Some of you, if you have extra time, if you want to kind of read and maybe question why they've entered it a certain way, of course you can do that. Just going to make sure I didn't mess up. Yep. Delete. All right. Now, go down here. I've got 94. I've got 94. Let's look at the total paid, 146. 146. Average, 1.5. Yeah, okay. So I checked my work. Appears to be correct. Here is the new table. This is old. This is what it was on the previous page. This is the base. So this is count base 9040. So this is it class code? CC 9040 only. Number of claims per fiscal year. This is bad abbreviations. Don't do that. You want to write it all out. And this is pretty much the same thing, but it's total paid. Class code 904. Because sometimes I don't do these things, and then you guys don't do it either. Total paid per fiscal year. You should be labeling, even though I'm not. I have to take time to explain this stuff. If you just let me go and I could just do my work, this would go so much faster. Because I'd put on music and I would just fly. And then you'd just be like, what the heck is he doing? All right, let's do that comparison now. It's probably best to compare side by side. That's just the old man in me. Is my voice really low? Kind of feels like it is. All right, let's see what we got here. I hope you guys can't hear my family. They're super loud right now. They always choose to do that. Okay, I'm going to make new tables now. Okay, so same thing. Boop, ba-doop, boop. Insert, scatter plot. Sometimes I update them. Sometimes I make them new. When you update them, there's a chance for error. If you make them new, there is none. It takes a little bit longer though. All right, let's do the total paid. Insert, scatter plot. Of course, I have to fix this. Uh-oh, what just happened? Okay. I can barely see these things. I'm gonna have to change the... Maybe it's just my eyes. Maybe you guys can see it just fine. I just see like white. That's what I see. Oh, why don't I see anything there? Something's not right. I'm gonna delete that. Start over. Don't know what happened there. Insert. I'm going to go in and add the years right away. Oh, great. I spoke too soon about feeling well. I'm starting to hear my heartbeat in my ear again. Dang. All right, let's fix the axes. I'm going to highlight that. Fix axes, or format rather. Fix format, same thing. Okay, and it's trend line time. Forward by 2 years, getting my R squared. Going down, okay. So it appears whatever they're doing for resident handling, it seems to be improving. At least from that perspective. That number is still going up, though. They're doing something. 2 and R squared. All right. What would be interesting is if, overall, if that was number 1, let's go back and look. Trend all, no. I want to see class, no. I want to see cause all. Cause all. It was definitely number 1, had the most. So maybe because it was so high 2-3 years ago, they're like, we got to do something about it. Excuse me, I shouldn't be bringing in and extruding snot while I'm recording. You guys are like, ugh, TMI, professor. I know. Oh, I got to get off this page. Yeah, so maybe there's something that they did, try and reduce it because it looks like in 9040, it's going down. So let's do another one, but I better give it the tab now. Now, what we did is 9040 resident handling. I'm going to say res care. I'm going to say res care. Is that the right term? There's probably a better term. Res patient handling. I'm going to turn it to res handling. Although that doesn't... Get your minds out of the gutter. Res handling. I was going to crack jokes, but I'm not going to because they're not funny. Copy. Now we're going to do number 2 on the list. Let's go see what the number 2 is. Let's zoom in a little. Second one is slip, trip, and fall. So, yep, we're going to go up to the top. One thing is I should compare the before and after. I'll take a look at that and see if the angle changes at all. highlight the subheader row, turn it into a filter. We're going to filter cause A to Z. We're just going to look at slip, trip, and fall. There may be a way to build an equation where we could just focus on it, but it gets really complex. This allows us to utilize all the work we've already done. All those tables come into play. 65, and let's see. 65, 125, 125, 1927, 1927. Okay, check the work. Everything looks good. Get some room to work. Insert. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to wrap this, and then we're going to look at those two classifications. We'll see how much further it needs to go. It may be that 9040 is a bust. We shall see. All right, so the count, insert, scatter. I just got to change the titles again, of course. What I should do is maybe change it in the original, and I don't have to redo it every time. And the total paid. All right, okay, we got to give this an x-axis value. Let's fix the axes. Format axis. Did it do it? Didn't do it. No, it did it. Okay. Trendline time. Doesn't that seem, if there's a word, it's got a, it seems steep to me. And that doesn't seem as steep, maybe. So we can do a comparison here. Now, I haven't put the titles in. I haven't even added this yet. This is 9040 slip, trip, fall. 9040 slip, trip, fall. See how the R-square values go to almost nothing because it was really high, then it went to nothing, then it went back up. High, down, up. Up, 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 up. And what happened in 2020, excuse me, that may have dropped it down? And some of you are thinking, well, COVID, right? Maybe people weren't in working as much, or maybe there was just, it could be. That in 2019, things were super high, and then, it's coming up from there. Excuse me. Sorry, sometimes I have to clear it. Otherwise, I've got this dangling particicle. Okay, so this right here, I got to put this back to, this is 9040 all. And this is 40 slip, trip, fall claims per fiscal year. Something like that. This needs to be spelled out. Again, I'm using abbreviations for the sake of brevity. 9040 slip, trip, fall. Total paid per fiscal year. So let's look back at the other one now too. Oh wait, the res handling is what I wanted to look at. Okay. So this is 9040 res handle number of claims per fiscal year. You know, in order to compare the slopes, what we could do is we could go back in here to the trend line and hit equation. Because when we hit equation, the equation gives us the slope. And according to this, you know, this is going, the slope here for this line is 17.5. So per year, 17.5. Here it's 5.5. So it's slowing down. There's less slope for the res handling. So there are less claims. Let's do the same thing down here. I don't typically do this, but I'm just trying to understand this more. All right, so the slope is... So the slope is a negative 21,000. I mean, it's like that because of what we have here. So it's dollar values, so $21,000. And this is negative 11. So overall, 904. And what we probably need to do is look at overall company and see how much that's going down and maybe showing it that way. We may have to do that. It's going down $11,000 per year. Though it's a subset of this, right? It's contributing 50% of the loss. Over 50% of what's going down is coming out of the res handling decreases. Let's look at it from the other one. What's the other? Slip, trip, fall. The same thing. All right, so these are going to be the same, but I can add it in. I'll be wrapping this up after this, and then I'm going to come back with work that's been done. I'm going to do the exact same analysis, and I may look at one more. I'll look at that before we go. Let's look at the slope. It's 17. Let's look at the slope. Negative 21. Look at the slope. It's 9. So it's lower slope. Let's look at the slope. It's negative 6,000. So the other one was 11. This one was 6. So between slip, trip, and fall and res handling, that's 17 out of 20. That's a lot. That's a big majority of what's going down right there. The contribution. All right. Interesting. Okay, let's go back to I gotta save my work. Let's go back to the base. I'm just trying to make sense of what's going on right now because everything's going down. 2020, 3 dots is difficult to find an overall trend. Of course, I'm complaining because I wish I had found more. Okay, the next. How many priorities did we find here? We went with 4. So the next one is material handling. Let's take a look at it. And the next one is combative. I don't think we're going to find anything there, to be honest with you. Yeah, this is be the last one we're going to look at in 9040, material handling. So let's do that. Okay, so this is going to extend it a little bit. So I've got the base here. Obviously, if I was to do this again, if I was you, I would go ahead and make better labeled figures and tables before copying and pasting to another, because this is making it so I'm doing the work twice. Turn this into a filter. We're going to do the cause again, A to Z, and we're only looking at material handling this time. Oh, geez, that went really fast. There we go. Yeah, just having a few years of data, it doesn't help us much. We got 32 claims here. Oh, let me make it bigger so you guys can see, actually. 32 claims, 124,000. 32 claims, 124,000. I'll just leave it at that. All right, let's make some room. And it may be that this particular class code is where the improvements were made. Maybe the next one won't be as clean. All right, let's do the count. Insert scatter plot. It's always going up, so nothing exciting there. Insert scatter plot. Wait 1 second, ladies and gentlemen. Let's see what happens when we do this. Nope, that's not what I wanted to do. Select data. Give it the year treatment. And we got to fix the axes, or the x-axes. Again. Oh, why didn't that update? Do I have to do it again? Did I not hit OK? Must not hit OK. I must have just like, that's better. Trend line it. Forward to R and that. Forward to equation and R. Well, well, well. Vindication is my name. This is what I've been talking about, ladies and gentlemen. So we took the top two causes within 9040, and it looked like things were getting better. And we showed from a trend perspective the slope of the line. Now what do we see? What do you see? We have a recommendation now. A solid recommendation that within 9040, even though they're doing a great job overall, see everything's going down overall, there is a cause that appears to be increasing. Do you see this? And based on our trend, even if it's 3 points, it looks like in 2023 they could be paying in upwards of 90,000. Check that out. There's some stuff we need to do with this. This is material handling, right? 9040, material handling, mat, handle. Is that what this is? I'm going to scroll down and make sure I'm right here. Resident. It's material handling, yeah. Manual material handling. Here's one thing I haven't done yet, and that is improve the outliers. We also need to sort these. So data, filter, and cause. And for this one, I need to remove everything that's not manual material handling. There. Okay, so there's 3 of them. So even though we have a trend up, we actually have $135,000 in claims that is not included. 3 of them. So what that would do, it may not trend up with those in it, but we just want them to know that it's not included. When did those occur? Two and 19. Okay. Yeah, that may have removed, it may have made the trend change. But we chose a technique and off we went. Yeah, it would have driven it down. Because they had 2 outliers here. They had 1 here. That would have driven that up. So it would have brought that up here. Oh, it would have been way up here, and this would have been right here. They may have looked like it's gone down, but we had the same situation with the slip, trip, and fall. And so let's look at the slip, trip, and falls. Down here, we're going to do the same thing. Probably should have done it right on that first one, right? Coulda, woulda, shoulda. Cause. So this one, this is the slip, trip, and fall one. So we'll get rid of everything that's not slip, trip, and fall. So there's quite a few slip, trip, and falls here. Totaling $665,000. When did they happen? They happened... a bunch of them in 20. Huh. I may have to do an analysis with, in, and without in my next video just to see how that might change things. Because I always like to do with them out because otherwise it's kind of a biased assessment. But maybe in this case with only 3 years... Oh, you guys, I think you guys can hear the dog barking. I just was looking at my audio number. So as it looks now, it looks like things are going down because 2020 dips it, though this does too. Was there anything in 2021? I'm theorizing, but in the next one I'm going to explore it because we're already at 36 minutes, if not more. Any in 19 would also make it. All these in 2019. I don't think it would help us at all, but I'm going to explore and I'll let you know. But that concludes the analysis of, for 9040, if we're going to use that as the variable we use, to recommend things to management, it appears that overall, this particular area has an increase in claims per year. How many? Well, we could actually estimate that by coming in and putting that in. Why isn't it doing it? I want to see the display. Oh, it did it and then it didn't. Oh, thanks, Excel. You're swell. All right. So this is the slope. So every year, every fiscal year, it goes down $21,000. For this, every fiscal year, oh, you kidding me? Are you kidding me? We know what it is. Whatever. We can look at it this way, then we can look and see how each one individually works. So it appears things are going to, the number of claims are going up, the costs are going down. Positive thing. For the resident handling, which is the number one cause, it's going down about $11,000 per year. We do have open claims here, so these may come up some. But right now it looks like something that they've done, either something they've done is working, or during the big pandemic year, maybe something changed functionally in the work. Something influenced it. It was either something they did in-house or something that the whole industry was affected by. Okay? That's the interpretation I have here. It's a hypothesis. Did I look down here at the res handling yet? I did not. So we got to do this again. And by cause... And this was res handling. And look at, remember some of these earlier interpretations? As long as you have them there, you can also compare it. So it was the number one. This is one that had the most number of, had the most representation in the outliers. When did they occur? Okay, got 4 of them in 21. 3 in 1. Might be interesting to do res handling with outliers in it and just see. It's going to be fairly easy for me to do, but I don't want to waste your time right now number of claims seem to be going up. That's going down quite a bit. 11. Again, it's over half of the overall decline for 9040. But if we plug in the numbers, it might be interesting to see where it ends up. I'll do that in between this video and the next one and report those findings. But that's what we're going to be doing this week. I'm going to do it for the other priority, the 8833, right? And then I'm going to try it out on the location and the distribution. So in the next video, I'm going to review the comparison of what the outliers in and see what that did. I don't think it's going to help at all. I'm going to do those other two. And then at that point, I'll kind of explain which one that I recommend we go with. And then, that's pretty much the end of everything. So maybe I'll do a follow-up video after that. This is already at 40 minutes. I shouldn't have gone this long. Maybe I'll do another video demonstrating it, doing each one of those, just so you can see what I'm doing. And then you can just choose the one you need to do. All right, thank you.